Let's see. I'll bet you that makes it work. Thank you for that heads up, Lewis. Oh, I did this again. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just mute. Just mute. There we go. All right. You should be able to hear me now. Can you hear me now, as they say? Can you hear me now? Too much craziness. But I got that sound. Let me know if that sound comes back up without the I see that that thing is really slow. You got me now, Lewis? Good. Maybe I do need a helper out here. Oh, I know I do. You know, there's a million different things to try and make sure everything's up and running. So what I was saying before that you couldn't hear was that I have the new tenon, the wood tenon that you saw in the pictures, exposed, and that's what we're mounted on. And I had shown you the side of the bowl, the end of the bowl, and I'm going to do that again, and I'll re-explain this. What I want to do is have that original bowl be what stays as true as possible. And you might, I doubt you can see it right now. You can see the wood down in here, but I don't want it to be shifted left to right, so that's why I wanted to use the original tenon. And then we're going to take this resin away. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of extra resin in here for the thickness. As you saw in the pictures, the bottom was really cool. What I'm going to do to get started on this is I'm going to get the piece round. I'm going to turn it on, and you'll see, as soon as I turn on the lathe, you'll see that the piece is not completely round to the tenon's center. Okay? You can see that it's not round at all. And I turn the speed up a little bit, and we'll get the tailstock on here to be safe. But I need to get this round, and once I get it round, I'm going to turn it back around and pop it in the bowl jaws so that I can clean up the bottom of this some first. Now, let me change this back over to the front. Good morning, Al. I have this wishful dream, if you will, for this piece. I know when you saw before, if you saw down in the wood, I would love to be able to turn this whole piece and leave maybe 1/8 of an inch of resin over the whole thing uniformly without actually ever touching the wood. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I just don't think either it's not going to be lined up, or I might not be smooth enough, but that's my goal. I mean, you always got to set goals for what we're working on. So my goal is to turn the resin away with the exception of, say, maybe 1/8 of an inch or less that we can see through, still have some of the pearlescent powder sparkle in there. If I end up hitting the wood, so be it. We'll put the finish on it, and it'll come out nice. So it's nice to set yourself, a lofty goal to work towards. You don't always get there, but that's okay. Some other things that I've been thinking about: the bowl top is actually only maybe 3/8 of an inch away from the top of the resin, but I've got 1.5 inches of resin. Let me switch back over here real quick. I've got 1.5 inches of resin here, so I may make some type of a curved or a rim, a radius rim for this piece. I'm not sure. We'll just see what happens once it gets true and round. I got a lot of different ideas in my mind that I've got going on, and I'm going to be using the EasyWood tools with the negative rake cutters. I'm going to put fresh cutters on this morning for my main tools. I was going to get that done, of course, before we started, but we all know how that goes. And my fresh cutters are, I have out here a CI3 NR, CI5 NR, and the CI2 R2. So my CI5 is going to go on my #1 hollower. Now, if you're not aware, but I bet you are, Spirecraft is having a fall sale right now, and everything in the store is 15% off. Oh, come on. Along with free shipping. There we go. And kind of like a knife. Always just let go, otherwise you'll get cut. Everything is on sale and with free shipping, and I'll drop the whole thing, so that's all good. A friend of ours was a chef, went on to become a chef out of high school, and that was the first thing he talked about, talking with family one time, is you learn to, if you drop a kitchen knife, a chef knife, just take your hands away so you don't get cut. All right. So we'll be putting these fresh cutters on here. I don't have any scissors out here. I do it the hard way. If you have any questions this morning while I'm getting ready, holler at me. Also, let me know. It looks like I'm watching on Facebook over there on the big monitor to my left. Like I say, it looks like it might be a little bit slow. And when I found that out last night about the USB card, it was 10, 11 o'clock at night last night, by the time I figured that out or discovered that. Glad I didn't discover it this morning. So I'll be getting another one of those. And then I was trying to play with YouTube just before I came on, and I still it will go on and go off, and I just don't have it figured out. All the settings, it is quite complicated, and we will get it. We will indeed get it. But with the software I'm using, which is different than the switcher feeds into the encoding software on the computer. That allowed me to show that image this morning. So my theory was and is that I can have an image up while I'm sort of kind of working the bugs out, and eventually, because I've already researched this and I know I can do it, there'll be either a still image or a video running, say 10 minutes before I get started, with a countdown timer. And then you'll know when I'm going to start, and I'll know when my time is up for messing around in here. Then I'm going to go with the CI3 on my mid-size. So lots of different things that I can do with this. And like I say, I'm always working to bring the best presentation out here in these live streams that I can to you. And the development, well, it's challenging. Come on. Get in there. I've misplaced my ice pick. The development is challenging, but it's worth it. It's worth it. A year from now, we'll be moving along, we'll be slick, and everything will be nice and ultra modern and moving well. I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too. Hey, my dad's in here. How you doing, Dad? I was up visiting the family this weekend, Mom and Dad. Dad's recovering from a little bit of a fall, but he's doing good. Went up there, we watched the ball game, shot the breeze. I put some more memory in his computer for him. Got all kinds of goodies done. I have the second piece. I don't know if you remember several episodes back when I first stabilized this, or when I first turned these two pieces. I have the other piece sitting over in the stabilizing resin, and I just need to pull it out and put it in the stabilizing chamber, and start sucking the air out of it. But I've been busy doing other things and running around and whatnot. So that's the one with the natural edge. I don't know if I'm going to jump right into that, because we've been on this topic here for on and off a month now. So I'll probably change the topic up a little bit, but that'll be a fun one to do as well. I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, I've got everything on sale. Firecraft is the vacuum chambers, the pressure pots. The pressure pots are coming. They got a little delayed out of LA. They're coming around the 11th or so. But all the stuff, everything in the store you can pick up at a great price this fall for the next little bit. All right, got that one set. And I hope y'all take advantage of that a little bit. Yeah, I'm plugging a little bit here. That's all right. I can do that. Not too bad. And this is my cutter for my mid-size. I like the mid-size tools. My micros are already set up in negative rake, but they're a little small for this size piece for me to feel comfortable. I like a little bit bigger tool, so that's why I'm changing these around. Good morning, Glenn. It's nice and cool out here, guys. I'm so happy about that. Not hot, at least yet. Finally, fall has come. to South Georgia. Okay, let's get this guy on. Maybe I should take the other one off first, Bradley. That would usually help. Like I said, so many things to think about. Woodworking shows, like I've been talking about, getting ready to start getting ready for the woodworking shows. I've got new display crates, new displays to make for the retail, and the shipping crates for that, and new transformer stage for the educational program. I'll be writing those descriptions here in the next couple of days and getting them over to the woodworking shows. On the Spirocraft page, if you click on events now, if you go to spirocraft.com and click on events, you will start to find information about the woodworking show. And I'll be posting the sweepstakes that I'll be doing. The VIP pass giveaway registration will be there shortly. All those kind of things. I hope everybody comes out next year, 2020, January, February, March, depending on where you're at, and joins us for that. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. How we doing here? All right. I think I need to put a tailstock in place. I got my tools. I do want to put my tailstock up here. And I'm going to put a rubber chucky cone on here. You're familiar with these now by now that I use. Donald Doyle's rubber chucky. Urethane goes right on my live center, because I don't want to pierce a hole in that resin and possibly even go into the wood. So this gives me safety of holding the piece between centers without putting any kind of a mar onto it or in the finish in any way, so I can still be safe. All right. So my first mesh in. Let's see how this goes. This face, the front face, the top is not too bad. I think I'll start with getting the outside round. Now I am going to put on my mask, so it's going to muffle things a little bit, but the resin dust, we don't want to breathe the resin dust. You know what? It's nice today. I may open the door. And let some of that dust go out of here if the neighbor's dogs don't run in. Miss Ma'am, the local, our kitty cat that lives here in the backyard, maybe she'll come visit with us. So I'm going to get my mask on. Get the microphone out from underneath. Sorry for the rustle. There we go. The hoops up over the ears. Hopefully you'll still be able to hear me okay through the mask. If I need to talk louder, let me know. Good morning, Chris. All right. So as you can see, when I first turned this on, if you watch the lathe, at the slower speeds it kind of bounces around. Not so bad now that I have the tailstock on. And we also have our overhead view. That you can take a look at. So we'll be able to go with that too. Yeah, either one. I'll move it back and forth. And I'll probably start there and go back, change directions. I think I'll just leave that resin on the floor because that's going to make a mess. I'm going to make a mess anyway, real quick. But I'm going to start with this outside profile because that's the most out of round. I'm going to start with, oh, I see that's all fuzzy, isn't it? That's no good on that camera. Pretty slow feed. I do apologize for the fuzziness today. I'm going to start with the number one hollower. My favorite. small cutter. Just take nice light cuts on this guy. Okay. Like I say, if you have any questions at all when you pop in here, just let me know. Alright, I'm going back to the overhead. And that's where we'll start. Alright. Get this all nice and secure. Get my face mask out. Doesn't look too bad. I might be about due for a new shield in here. Okay. I think we're good to go. Microphone should be where you can hear it. It's in between the shield. Get our controllers up here. Let's see if we're a little high for our tool rest. We'll drop that down. Okay. What's our speed? Oh, about 900. About 900 is our speed. Something like that. And I'm just going to stand off the side. I'm going to make a big mess today. Made a lot of shavings around. It's interesting, this piece is actually quite heavy. Probably weighs 5 pounds with the stabilized resin in it and then all the resin from the casting. It will smooth out when and be quiet, more quiet and not as noisy when I get her to the round. You can see, look at my hand, why you want to wear the dust mask. Real fine resin powder comes off when it's like this. Once we get going, we'll get the nice streamers. And it won't be so dusty, but until then, that dust is really fine. Stop this and take a look and see what it looks like just go, as we go. You can see we're turning all this. We haven't even touched this yet. That's how much out around it is. Looks like I need to defog myself just for a little bit here so that I can see properly. Alrighty. That annoys me about the slowness of the film there, of the feed. But I can't change that right now. So we'll just keep on working. Let's get the stuff out of my hair. I'm going to be a mess when I go to the Mexican restaurant today for lunch. Okay. Back we go.
pretty loud to try and talk over. It is a shame that the resin is so cool underneath. Like I say, I hate to turn it away because it's such a nice pattern. I gotta recast the bowl with those two colors and do the same thing that I did there. Stop, clean off my head and my face here a little bit for a second. Alright, we're getting real close to being where we're turning the whole thing. Still got just a little bit right there. That sharp rim right up there. Alright. Let's get rid of that sharp rim. Again, I want to be real careful around the top because that's where I want to maybe try and keep some of this. Okay, so I think that's pretty well turned in the whole thing. I'll switch to the larger mid-size cutter when I come back to the outside of this. I'm going to bring myself around to the face and the inside now and do the same thing. Get this cleaned up. Still using the number 1. Then we'll go to a bigger hollower. We'll go to a bigger tool. I'm going to demask here for a second. You can see I'm getting to be a mess. Once I get I've got the back now where the whole thing is turning evenly. I'll get the top turning evenly, the inside turning evenly. Then I'll switch from the small number 1 hollower, which makes the nice light cut, over to the larger CI3 negative rake, where I'll get a smoother cut, especially inside outside, not so many little waves. And then when it gets right down to it, at least on the outside, we'll be using the radius cutter, CI2 R2NR, for the outside. We can't really use this on the inside, but we can use it on the outside. I started to almost mount up negative rake cutter on a full size tool, but I don't know, just I don't like. I shouldn't say I don't like. I just don't like I guess I don't like using that long a handle on a piece this small. So we're making a mess here today. Again, if you've got any questions, Erica's here, Loren's here. Good morning, ladies. Let's see. Let's get back in here. We've defogged. And I'm going to go to the end camera now. Let's see. Hopefully it will stay in focus. It was acting up a little bit. It's the one that always gives me trouble to get in there. Now, if this whole feed is slow, I'm recording everything on the cameras, so I will edit up one that doesn't have the latency in it because of my broken brand new USB card. So let's get this top rim done here. Again, I don't want to take much off of that. I would have plenty of string today for Halloween this week if I wanted to make ghoul hair. Let's see how this looks. Okay, not quite flat yet, but we're working on it. We're working on it there. Do 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 do. Do do do. All right, keep going. Again, here I'm just taking just what I need to get it flat for right now. Okay. Now what I want to leave the tailstock in place. I'm going to start making the inside clean and round. At some point I will have to take the tailstock out of the way, but like I say, I'm trying to get a lot of this mass out of here so that it doesn't have so much shake to it. So we'll come right on in the inside edge here. Tool just looked like it was trying to creep on me there. A little bit noisy in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually watching over here. I'm watching the cut line on this far side. Let's check and see if I'm too close to the wood. No, I'm not even all the way touching resin yet, so I'm good. I'm going to be real careful when I start to get down to right here, where you can see that wood. Make a pass across the bottom. Try and get that cleaned up a little bit. Okay, stop and take a look at things. Alright, so I'm still not even touching the resin here, so I need to take some more just to get even to the uniform point. So we'll make another pass starting at the top. Taking a pretty healthy cut, but not huge. If you remember, we filled all those wormholes when we submerged this in this beautiful piece of wood. So lots of good treasures hiding underneath here, I think. Alright, and stop and take a look here, clean up a little bit. I got stuff everywhere. Okay, so we are cutting uniformly up here on the top now. Around the top rim, but not down here on the bottom yet. Again, I'm trying to be very careful. I'm trying, like I said, my goal is to, here I'll give you this shot for a second. My goal is to not go all the way through and hit the wood if I can possibly get away with it. You see, you got to keep my stuff clean here. It's good fun stuff, isn't it? It itches a little bit after a while, but not too bad. We'll go back over here to end. And let's go on down inside here. Hey, Doug's here. Morning, Doug. Working at the negative rake cutters this morning, Doug. Got a kind of a slow feed today because of the USB. You'll hear me grumble all morning about it. Okay. So, everything is round now. I want to actually, I know this is crazy, I'm going to take it out of the chuck. I'm going to put it in the jaws, bowl jaws, so that I can work on the bottom and the outside before I come back around. Now that I have this mass out of here, if that makes sense. So, let me get things changed around here. Come out of the mask for a few minutes. Come out of the dust mask for a few minutes.
Get a little fresh air. All right, it's actually working as planned so far. It's doing what I want it to do. Clean some of this mess up. Let's see here. Let's get this way over here. Not sure if I'll use it or not when we come around. So is that going to sit flat? That should sit flat. I'm going to take just a little bit more. This isn't, I want it to sit flat on this outside, and I can see that I have a little bit of a rise there, so I'm just going to throw my mask on and make a pass to make this flat real quick like before I take it off the chuck and put it in the bowl jaws. And I'll actually go ahead and use the flat style radius cutter. I just want to lower that inside edge. Okay. A little bit more. I didn't even change the camera for you on this one, I know. I may even make it slope down just a little teeny bit. Okay, that's good. Doug, that's a real handy tool rack right there, buddy. The 5-year-old Easywood Tools tool rack. Making good use of that thing. Alright, so now I'm going to jump over here to the end camera real quick. I'm going to show you when I did that just how close we are to the wood. There's the wood starting to show right there. So that tells me that it's still not uniformly in the resin, so I'm probably not going to be able to do my dream that I wanted to, which is to cut. And I'll zoom this in here so you can see what I'm talking about, and then I'll zoom back out. I'll have to move the camera. But I want to do this because I want you to see what I'm keeping track of. Okay? So you can see how the wood is starting to show right there. That's the actual bowl. The problem is that I don't have it showing uniformly across the top, which means the resin is not uniform in depth across the top. So for me to cut all the resin away, I'll cut some of this wood, which means for me to have a uniform top on this, I'm going to probably have to cut all the way to the wood. That's still okay, but it takes away my option of making, leaving a little bit of the resin on there that I had wanted to do. But, you know, it's one of those things. We just work with what we've got, and we figure it out. And I will change over to the front while I change that camera back. I hope everybody's enjoying the morning again. I don't know if the feed looks outrageously slow or not. But again, if it's horrible, I will repost it because I'm again filming with the regular cameras that you're seeing through. So let's pop this guy out of here and jump the bowl jaws on here, and we will go to work on the outside because this is round to the tenon that we had. Okay, so jaw change. So while I'm changing, if anybody's got any questions about anything, give me a holler. Let me fix my hair. Happy to answer any kind of questions about what I'm up to. Looking for suggestions. Like I said, I think we'll take a break after this one in the resin world maybe. So I'm looking for suggestions on things. If people would like to see me do something a little different. My jaws are down in here. Pop these guys on. They should be pretty close. Pretty close. I may have to adjust them by 1 notch. I had it in here last night, as you could see in those pictures I had posted. Let's see what we have. Yep, let's move the buttons in. Looks like if we move them in, let's see if I need to go 1 notch or 2. I think just 1 notch will handle it. 1 notch will handle it. All right. Uh-oh. Why is that picture up there? What's the deal? That's not supposed to be showing. That's bizarre. You guys let me know, are you seeing the Knowledge of Greatest Tool picture or are you seeing the shop? I'm a little concerned at looking at my screen here as if it stopped. I lost my feed the way it should be. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I often don't know what's going on, but let me refresh my screen. There we go. Now am I watching? I think I'm watching the replay now. Great. One of those mornings. One of those mornings. Anyway, I'm just going to continue on. Let me move these bumpers out. And get you there. I don't know what happened to the feed there. It's kind of crazy. Change these bumpers over by 1 row. Well, let's change them over by 2. Give me more latitude for the future. It's funny, I don't know what feed I'm watching now. I'll change these and then I'll come over and check things out. It looks like I see what's going on. Because I'm changing the bumpers. But I've lost my comments. Do 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 do. Huh. If you comment and I don't see it, I apologize. I'm going to stick a comment in here just to say hey, so I know where I'm at. Because I've lost track of things. My producer can, funny, he can't turn and run the switches and keep track of everything all at the same time. I just don't know. Just don't know. But I am looking forward to the day it all works super smooth. And that should be the right one. The think I only moved. Make sure I got this right. Yeah, I need to go one more here. Too busy talking, watching things crash. Let me go in one more right here. Thank you, Lorianne. Like I say, I don't know. All of a sudden, my screen was showing an image from the beginning, the picture. So I don't know. Now I'm back seeing me change the bumpers out here on the bowl jaws. It's wild and crazy. It's wild and crazy. But I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Can't get too, what's the old phrase, wigged out? Can't get too wigged out when things aren't working just the way you want them to. Because you just have to roll with it. You have to roll with the punches. You know, the woodworking shows, doing the woodworking shows, working in front of a live crowd for 10 years now, has really helped me get used to, you know, when things don't go the way exactly you want to, and you just keep right on working through it. It's been a valuable asset to have learned, and I'm happy for it. 10 years I've been out there now. This will be 10 years coming up at the woodworking shows. Again, if you weren't here earlier and you haven't seen, you know, I'm working on getting the descriptions done. If you go to spidercraft.com and go to events, you'll see a link to the woodworking shows. I think I have them all in the right spot. You'll see a link to the woodworking shows. And I'll have the descriptions up there and the giveaways. Watch me have gone one too far. These things drive me nuts. They drive me nuts sometimes. Back out one bumper, one hole. Sometimes, Doug, if you're here, sorry, not always my favorite item to work with. And I hear the phone over there blasting away. Somebody say, hey. I go, well, I'm busy right now. I'm talking to people around the world, or at least around the country. I could be in Colorado where it's snowing. They're already getting snow. After Halloween's coming up, there's usually snow on the ground at the house in Colorado for Halloween. I can assure you I won't have snow here. Roper had a foot of snow the other day. He lives up in the Front Range in Colorado. And he said, free delivery. I said, I'll take 2 feet to South Georgia, please. Thank you. It'd be something if we had a bunch of snow come in here and I had my snowmobile. Can you imagine these guys see me running up and down town on my snowmobile at 70 miles an hour? They wouldn't know what to do. All right, let's see if this is going to do what I need. Still one more to go. Still one more to go, or two. See, I try and talk to keep you entertained while I'm working on this, and then sometimes I lose my focus. All right, last one. There must be a dozen of these little rubber bumpers on here as far as I can tell. All right, let's try that. Holding the zoom ring on the chuck, on the easy chuck to hold that. Now we're cooking. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Now we can clean up, change it to number 3 here. Now we can clean up all this area in here from the bottom of the original tenon right up to the bumpers. All right, that's what we'll be doing. So we get this guy snugged up in here. And I'll bring the tailstock up, and I'll take the rubber chucky cone off so that I have a good point in there going into the wood, just to be super secure on that. So let me pop the rubber chucky off. Stick it back over here because we'll probably use it again. Oop! Sorry for the screech. Alrighty. Bring that right up there. Pop her in. Alright, I'm going to turn the speed all the way back down to 0. Alright, that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. And I think if we turn this about 700 or so, we should be all right. You don't necessarily, a lot of people turn the resin really fast, and I don't necessarily think you need to, because it does tend to heat up, overheat. Let me back that out just a little bit for you. All right. Get my mouse up on the top one here. Alrighty. Back into the mask, the dust mask, and then the face shield. And we'll get back to work.
It's got to be strange, like I say, as I can't tell for sure, if it's you're hearing the normal audio but seeing the picture move slowly. It's got to be weird. And I do apologize. Alright. Let's get in here and clean this guy up. Light looks good. Goggles are clear. And mid-size finisher with the CI3 negative rake cutter in place to start our work here. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over some denatured alcohol so that we can take a look at this from time to time. It will shine up the resin so that we can see through it and give us an idea of what it's looking like. Let's see if it does, like I say. See if I'm telling the truth to you here this morning. See how it lets you see the resin, see your pattern back and see through it? Because I really want us to try and you know, like I say, not dig into the wood if I can help it. So we'll be able to do that from time to time, so we can see what's going on in there. All right, I'll back that up just a fuzz. Then this upper section, well, we'll turn that when we get it turned back around again. There we go. Everything's snug. Life is good. Off we go. Did I mention that it took me about 2 hours last night to get the tenon exposed? Glad I didn't wait till today for that, because I didn't have my Play-Doh when I did this. Alright, starting to just barely see the wood through there. Okay. Resin doesn't have a grain, but it does sometimes turn easier one direction than the other. Whatever works best and is easiest is your smoothest cuts where you want to be. So I'm going to stop a lot to check this, see how I'm doing as I come in close on the wood. I mean, I could just go ahead and turn right to the wood, but I'm trying not to do that. Take a quick look over here. It looks like the feed must have dropped out, but I see people coming back. Technology. So now that we're smooth, we get those nice streaming cuts coming off of there. I'm going to get as close to the bumpers as I can. Work this whole section. Alright, let's take another look. See what's going on underneath. Okay. Pretty resin. Pretty resin. But pretty wood underneath all that too. So we'll just keep easing our way down through here. Oops. Got too much hair, resin hair on my head there. Couldn't see. All right. Don't see the wood up in here yet. As soon as I start to see it, I'm going to switch over to the radius cutter that I can work on the outside of this with. So I'll know I'll get a smoother cut.